Okay, so learner guide, Cambridge IGCSE Biology 0610. There are also a lot of websites, even YouTube channel you can check out. I have a list of them. I will give you also a copy of the websites that are very useful, especially when you are reviewing IGCSE. Okay, of course, mathematical skills. Biology doesn't need the complicated mathematical skills, just the basic ones. And yeah, remember units, SI units will be using that. We will discuss first the guide, okay? How you will be tested. Again, you'll be tested for paper 2, paper 4, and paper 6, yeah? Paper 2 again is multiple choice, okay? 45 minutes, 40 marks. And then you will be also tested on paper 4. This is 80 marks, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, this will include short answer questions and structured questions. And then paper 6 is 40 marks for 1 hour. This is alternative to practical. This is about a written paper about practical work. Okay, so this is paper 6 is like, again, your workbook exercises. Okay, so you will be tested with mathematical skills, scientific skills, investigative skills, general advice. Okay, use your syllabus. We discussed this last time, right? Use your syllabus all the time. The syllabus, again, is already in your file folder. Okay, so when you're doing revision or when you're preparing for the exams, use the syllabus because the syllabus has the learning objectives, it has the key terms, the definitions, the basic information you need to know is in there. One, guys, because you will not be having face to face, this is not needed, okay? But then you will still use pencils, clean eraser, ruler, which measures in millimeter, okay? Again, calculator is very important. Sharpener, you probably might need that when you do IGCSE, because we will have like for paper 2, we will do written written test exams. Okay, so for example, or even in paper 6, where you will be asked to make a results chart, or you will be asked to make a graph. Okay, I think we did this already like before in our previous test. So you will always be asked to use ruler, eraser, of course, pencil, guys. Do not use pens for making data charts and making graphs, right? I think last time I deducted 1 mark if you did not, if you use pen for the data chart. Okay, so again, do not forget, yeah, you need to use pens, of course, for the other answers, or probably you just type your answer. But if it's paper 2 or paper 6, for example, wherein you will be asked to make a data chart and or graph, again, you will use pencil, okay? Do not use pen. And of course, guys, always use a ruler, okay? Always use a ruler because IGCSE is very particular with how straight your bar chart is, how straight the cells are. They are very particular with that, okay? So again, please use ruler, eraser, pencil, so on and so forth. Okay, guide in answering questions. Do not waste your time writing out the question before you start to answer question. Okay, so please do not write out the question. Do not waste your time. Okay, and then keep your handwriting clear and legible. I will be the one checking your papers, right? Although most of the questions will probably we will use Google Forms, which is actually good. But for those who, for paper six, especially, we will be using, of course, papers, like literal papers. Okay, so please just make your handwriting clear, legible. And then this one, this is not applicable. This one, we did this already, right? We discussed this already. If you wish to change an answer, cross out the first answer and rewrite. Again, for those who were absent last time, if you want to change your answer, do not scribble. Okay, it says here you have to cross out something, put a line through it. Do not scribble. Okay, so you just put a line over your mistake, and then you have to write in here on top your answer. Only one line, guys, only one line. And then another thing I would like to um, discuss in here, this one's not applicable. This, always try to write accurately using the right or using the correct terms or biology terms or scientific terms. Okay, you should have to write the correct one. Example, what we usually use when we discuss indigestion, to let everyone know about it and for everyone to understand what indigestion is, we usually use the word pooping, right? Which is very everyday vocabulary. Okay, so instead of using the word pooping, use the correct term, which is indigestion. Okay, because you might lose a mark, guys, if you don't use the correct biological term. Okay, don't use words like it, they, effect, affect without any more explanation. This is the example. It says here, the question is, state why magnesium ions are important for healthy plant development. Okay, so you have to state why. Okay, so why are magnesium ions important for a healthy plant development? Okay, an example answer is they are needed by plant, which is actually correct, right? But it's vague. It's not specific. It's very general. Okay, another answer, possible answer would be they are needed by the leaves, which is also true, but it is still too vague. Okay, so you will not get a mark, guys, if your answers are like this. The most common answer that most of you guys will uh, write if you are not familiar with the function of magnesium, you would say for the plant to survive, right? For the survival of the plant. That is always, the last answer you guys would probably write. Okay, but then again, vague, general answers will not be given a mark. No points for that. So, these are the suggested answers, guys. Magnesium is needed to make chlorophyll. Okay, so this is now specific. Magnesium is needed by plants or by the leaves to make chlorophyll. Or you can also say magnesium ions are important for healthy plant development because it is part of each chlorophyll molecule. Okay, this is also will gain you a mark. Okay, and this one. Again, just be specific. I always tell you this. Be specific. Okay, if you want to use it or they, think what is it. Okay, this is also very important, guys, especially in my case, because say for example, you use they for every first um, word in your statement, and sometimes I will also what is they, I have this usually for some of you. What is they? What is it? This and that. So instead of using pronouns, why don't you use the noun? Okay, they, what is they here? They is actually magnesium ions, right? Why don't you write magnesium ions then instead of they? Because this could be confusing to the reader. Because they, are you referring to the magnesium ions or the plant? Okay, so again, do not use pronouns, especially um, on the first word of your sentences should not be um, pronouns. Okay, and then the affect and effect. Okay, sometimes, for example, if the question is, um, what would happen to, say, a plant if they are magnesium deficient? Okay, some of your answers would probably be they affect the plant or they have an effect on the plant. Okay, so we have also to think, what is the effect? Okay, how did magnesium ions or how did this deficiency affect the plant? Okay, so again, do not use these terms. Okay, or if you really want to use those terms, do not stop there. Like, it affects the plants or this will affect the plant. You have to explain more. What is the effect? How did that affect the plant? Okay, you have to explain. Do not stop there. You have to explain more. You are required to use the correct terms. Yeah, correct scientific terms, correct biological terms. Most of them are in the syllabus. Okay, so please read the syllabus, guys. Again, it's in the file folder of your channel. Okay, and then try to use the correct spelling. If the spelling is like really, really far from the correct spelling, it's ambiguous, then you probably will not get a mark. Okay, but if we can consider the spelling, I can consider spelling, that's okay. Okay, but then again, this is also very important. Okay, example, ureter, urethra, uterus, these terms have similar spelling, although they mean different parts, yeah, different organs. So make sure that you write the correct spelling. Okay, and for example, this one, instead of ureter, you said uritus or you write uritus. This is already wrong. And then this one, writing in your own words, okay, especially when you will be asked to give a suggestion of something. Of course, you have to write that in your own words, right? So do not forget that you have to use short sentences, okay? Okay, do not write very long sentences, compound plus compound sentences. You have like and then your phrase and another phrase and. Okay, so use short sentences. Keep it simple, keep it short. This one. If you write long sentences, you can become confused and your meaning is lost. Okay, so stick with the short sentences. Make sure though that the answer, your point, your idea is there. You'll also be asked to define. Define is give the meaning, right? In your syllabus, the key terms there are already defined. You can memorize, but if you don't want to memorize, at least familiarize the correct terms, correct spelling, and you can use your own words, provided that the keywords will still be there. Okay. Example number 2, discussed this last time. It helps to highlight the main features of a question, but you can underline or you can circle keywords in the questions. I think we demonstrate this last time. Okay, example, name the tissue that transports the sugars made by photosynthesis to other parts of the plant. Okay, so you have to name the tissue. It says tissue only, so you have to write one answer only. Of course, what is the correct answer for this? Tissue that transports the sugars. This is the phloem tissue. Okay, so make sure you know which part of the biology is being tested. This is chapters 1 to 22, guys. Read the whole question. I think you can read that by yourself. Check that. Look for clues in the question. Okay, and then answer each question as far as you can. Don't spend a long time staring at the question. By the way, the rule for biology is always A minute, a mark. Okay, that's the term. A minute, a mark. So if you can see that the corresponding mark is actually 3, then you only spend 3 minutes answering that question. Do not waste time writing things unrelated to the question. And also this one, guys, try not to leave blanks. As much as possible, write any answer that is related to the question because you might never know, your idea might be correct, even though you're not sure of it. Do not waste time or write a long answer for a question which has 1 or 2 marks. Okay, for example, the question is only state the phloem, the structure of the phloem tissue. Okay, and then you wrote a very long answer. If it's only 1 mark, the highest possible score you can get is only 1 mark. Okay, so I think it would be a waste of time if you write a very long answer with a question that's only worth 1 mark. Okay, and then if there are 2 or more marks, don't write the same thing in 2 different ways. For example, the leaf is very large. And let's say, for example, the question is describe the leaf, for example. Describe the leaf in the diagram. And then because it's 2 marks, uh, you think you have to write 2 answers, of course. And then the first answer that you wrote is the leaf is very large. The second one is the leaf has a large surface. I mean, they are the same thing, right? When you say a leaf is large, that means it has a large area. So do not write the same thing in 2 different ways. Okay. Notice that the second sentence is more accurate and is preferable to the first one. Okay, especially if it's only 1 mark. Okay, please make sure that you write the more accurate answer. The command word. These are questions that do not end with a question mark. Okay, so we call them command words. Okay, so for example, name, you have to give the name or you have to define something. Okay, so always look for the command words, yeah, because this is what you are expected to answer. Example, name the process by which green plants make sugars. Of course, you can just write there photosynthesis because you were asked only to name. Okay. Question number 2 is define the term hypothesis. This one is you have to define, you have to give the meaning. So this time, this requires a full sentence. By the way, in IGCSE, use a full sentence whenever needed. Okay. If it's only like naming or stating or labeling, of course, you don't need complete sentences. But if it's asking you to define something or explain or describe something, okay, please use full sentences.